happy Star Wars Day. Let's go ahead and tackle Leia Organa's iconic space buns. You're going to start out with a middle part, make sure it's straight-ish in the back, and then go ahead and throw your hair into two ponytails. You want them about an inch back from your ears and a little bit above. Go ahead and loosen them up just a little bit so they're not quite so tight on your scalp, and then we're going to take each side and we're going to twist it in towards our face, and then we're going to wrap these buns up and around towards our face and not away. We're going to pin these as we go by pinning the edge, hooking it out, and then kind of back in. And then this is the most important part, is to fluff as you go. You want these really big, like bigger than you think you want them. You want them very large. They should cover your ear. So go ahead and pin and twist, keep fluffing and pinning, and then when you're done pinning, keep fluffing and pinning. I spent a good 3 minutes on each of these, just kind of fluffing it and shaping it and pinning it until I was happy with how it looked. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, again twisting in towards my face and then up and around towards my face, massaging, fluffing, pinning, twisting, and messing with it until it's the shape and size that I want. When you're done, the tops of the bun should be level with your hairline and the bottoms with the widest part of your jaw. But that's it. That's how you do Princess Leia's space buns. This can absolutely be an everyday look if you're brave enough. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions at all. And as always, happy hairstyling. Here's how to do the hairstyle that Leia wears at the end of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. You're going to start out by putting your hair in a very high ponytail, not quite on top of your head, but definitely directly back from it. Then you're going to take a small section out from the bottom and just do a regular 3-strand braid. If you want to, you can fluff up the braid to make it look a little bit bigger, and then we're just going to tie that one off. Next, grab a small section from the top of the ponytail, and then with the remainder of the ponytail split into 3 slightly larger sections. So you want 1 small section and then 3 larger ones. Each of the 3 larger sections you're going to braid, just doing a regular 3-strand braid, tie them off, and then we're going to take a very large sock bun, take that small section that we set aside earlier, pull it through, and then pin the sock bun in place over the braids. Take that small section, kind of twist it and fluff it, and then we're going to just loop this around, kind of like icing on a cupcake, just on the top there to cover it a little bit. Pin that in place, and then you should have something that looks like this. Next, you're going to take those 3 braids that were from the larger sections, but not that first braid that we did that's hanging down the back. And you're just going to wrap these around. You don't want these at an angle, you want them very horizontal to each other, one right underneath the other. So just wrap them and pin them. You can pin directly into that sock bun. Just make sure this is a very straight cylinder shape. You don't want it ending up looking like a cone or lopsided or anything like that, so just keep an eye on the shape of the braids. Tug them out if you need to or push them in more. But that's it. That's how you do Leia's ceremony hair. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to go give Chewie that medal he deserves. The hairstyle that Leia wears while she's on Hoth is a Dutch crown braid. We're going to start out by making a part from the top of our head down to the top of our ears on either side. Pull the back section out of the way for now, just so it doesn't get tangled up. And then with the front section, go ahead and brush it and comb it to get rid of that part line, and then go ahead and grab a couple face framey pieces right in front of your ears. Clip that front section out of the way for now, release the back section, and then grab a small section right above your ear. We're going to make a Dutch braid. A Dutch braid is just like a French braid, but you cross the strands under each other instead of over each other. And we're going to angle this Dutch braid in kind of a U shape down along the nape of our neck and then back up to the other ear. Make sure as you're adding in hair that you don't create any weird part lines or bumps. Keep it as smooth as possible. Once you get up to the top and you've added in all the hair, go ahead and flip your head over and then kind of rearrange your hands and the strands however you need to be able to braid comfortably. Unleash that front section from earlier and then continue adding in hair, but only to the front pieces, so kind of a Dutch lace braid here. Continue adding in sections to these strands closest to your face, and then once you run out of hair, just do a regular 3-strand braid all the way down. Don't worry too much about any strands popping out in the braid because it's mostly going to be covered up anyways. Secure that with an elastic and then lay it over the start of your crown braid, and we're going to tuck this braid underneath. You should be able to lightly lift up the loops of the Dutch braid and just kind of tuck the braid underneath and pin it. The tail of the braid you can kind of just tuck up under the loops too and also pin that in place. And then if you want to, you can go back and kind of tug on the loops of the braid a little bit to make it a little bit fluffier, a little bit more full. But that's it. That's how you do Leia's Hoth hairstyle. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and as always, happy hairstyling. Leia's Bespin Cloud City look, aka my new favorite hairstyle, is pretty simple to do. Start out by pulling out some face framing pieces right in front of your ears, and then throw the rest of your hair in a ponytail about halfway up your head. Go ahead and take a small section from the top of the ponytail, move it out of the way, and then split the remainder of the hair in half. With each of those halves, make a 3-strand braid, and then we're going to take those braids and kind of loop them up and pin them to the top of the ponytail. Don't worry too much about the ends sticking out as they'll be covered up anyways, just try to make sure your loops are as even as you can get them. Next, you're going to take a small hair donut and you're going to pin it to the top of your ponytail. We're going to take that small section from before, lay it over the top, pin it, and then take the remainder of that hair, twist it, and wrap it around so we have what looks like a simple knotted bun. Go ahead and pin that in place, and then that's it. That's all of her hairstyle. This is pretty secure, very fun, very cute, and I love that it's secretly nerdy but still very wearable. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and as always, happy hairstyling. There are no super clear shots of the back of Leia's hairstyle when she's disguised as a bounty hunter, so I focused more on matching the front of the style and then created a quick and easy updo for something that I felt would fit well under a helmet for the back. Start out by pulling out face framing pieces and then grab 2 sections near the top of your face and just tie them in a simple overhand knot at the back of your head. Go ahead and insert a bobby pin or 2 into the center of that knot for security and then split the remainder of your hair in half. With each of those halves, you're going to split it in half and tie another overhand knot. Once again, inserting bobby pins as you go for security or else these knots will not hold in place. So go ahead and insert 1 or 2 bobby pins and then do the same thing on the other side, tying an overhand knot and pinning in place. And then you're going to take those 2 halves that you just had and tie it into one large overhand knot. Insert some bobby pins for security, and then tie it in a second overhand knot just to add a little bit of extra dimension and length to the bottom. Finally, you're going to take the 2 ends that are sticking out and kind of roll them up and hide them as best as you can underneath the knots. You can just stuff them under the updo and pin them in place. Do your best to hide any strands, but don't worry about it too much because this is supposed to be a messy style. And then just add any extra bobby pins you need for extra security, and that's it. That's how you do Leia's Boushh Bounty Hunter disguise, or at least my rendition of it. Let me know if you have any questions, and as always, happy hairstyling. Let's tackle Leia's Huttslayer hairstyle. Try saying that one 5 times fast. Start out by taking a section of your hair at the top and pinning it out of the way for now, and then directly beneath that make a Dutch braid. A Dutch braid is just like a French braid, except you cross the strands under each other instead of over each other. If you have any lumps, bumps, or weird part lines like this, you can take a rat tail comb or a chopstick or a pencil, any long, thin object, stick it under the lump, and then lift up the hair and smooth it out that way. This is a great trick if you already finished a good part of the hairstyle and you notice something a little too late to fix it, it can help smooth it out. Next, take that top section we made earlier and just twist it into a regular ballet style bun, pinning as you go for security, and try to make sure it covers up the top of that Dutch braid. And that's it. That's how you do her Huttslayer hairstyle. If you'd like, you can also make some hair pieces. I made these out of craft foam and some hot glue, and then you can just stick those right on the sides of the bun and one to the end of the ponytail, and voila. Let me know if you have any questions, and as always, happy hairstyling. In case you didn't know this already, Ewoks are expert hairstylists, and today I'd like to show you how to do one of their most iconic looks, the braids that they did on Leia while she was on Endor. Start out by making a part from the top of your head down to the tops of your ears on each side, and go ahead and twist that out of the way for now. Grab a small section behind each ear, close to the nape of your neck, and then pin the rest of the hair out of the way. Go ahead and release the front section, and then split it into a front half and a back half. Twist the back half around the bun in the back to keep it out of the way for now, and then we're going to take the section behind one of our ears, split it into 3 strands, and start a 3-strand braid, angling it up over our head. Once you have enough braid to reach up to the front section, you can start adding in that front section to the braid in the style of a Dutch lace braid. So a Dutch braid is just like a French braid where you cross the strands under each other instead of over each other. And then a Dutch lace braid means you're only adding in hair to one side, in this case the side closest to your face. Continue adding in hair in small sections until you've added in all the hair in that front section. Then just go ahead and braid down in a regular 3-strand braid. If you have any strands popping out, like you can see at my shoulder there, don't worry about it because we're going to cover that up with the twine later. Next, go ahead and release the back section of the front section. Grab that small section that's behind our ear, and just like last time, you do a 3-strand braid until you reach up to where the back section is, and you start adding in pieces. Now, you probably won't have as much hair in this section as you did in the first one. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and add in hair wherever you can. This is more just to anchor the braid than to fill it out. And then once you've got all that hair in that section added in, just 3-strand braid down, and now you should have 2 braids on either side. Next, you're going to grab a yarn needle, not a real needle, a yarn needle. They're plastic, they won't hurt your head. Grab some twine, or I think she has leather strips in her actual hairstyle. I couldn't find any, so I'm using twine. Wouldn't recommend it. It does kind of catch in your hair a lot. But go ahead and grab whatever you'd like to tape your hair with, and then just kind of sew it back and forth like a shoelace. You can crisscross it. If you need a little more help with this, I did a similar technique in Fennec Shan's hair tutorial. I'll link that one in the video description. But once you have all of the Dutch braided section done, you can just kind of crisscross them and then tie them off at the end of the braid. And then you're going to do the exact same thing on the back braid. So you have 2 separate braids. I tried to get the X's of my stitches to go in between the first one so that they kind of offset each other. I don't know, just an extra detail. But after that, you just release the back hair and you are done with her village hairstyle. I love this. I am absolutely going to start wearing something very similar soon, just without the twine because it caught in my hair a lot. But if you want to take this to the Battle of Endor look, it's super duper easy. Split that hair in half and you just do a 3-strand braid on either side. Tie each of those off with an elastic, and then you're going to take the 2 twine wrapped braids and we're going to tuck them back behind our head, and we're going to pin these into a bun. We want to keep this as flat and as small as we can get because we're going to cover it up with the other 2 braids. Then you're just going to take both of those braids and wrap them into a circular bun on each side of your head. I would go ahead and make sure that you can see the buns from the front of your face, kind of poking out behind your ear there. But yeah, just wrap them into a bun, pin them in place. I would make sure that they go in opposite directions as well, just so you get the visual look that Leia has. But that's it. That's how you do both of her Ewok styled hair looks. I love both of these. This one I've worn to work a couple times already. But that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, and as always, happy hairstyling. If you were hoping for a quick and easy tutorial on Leia's Endor hairstyle, this is it. Start out by making a part from the tops of your ears all the way across the back of your head, pin the top section out of the way, and then split the bottom section in 2. Go ahead and braid each of those sections into a regular 3-strand braid and secure with an elastic at the end. Next, release the top section of your hair and take those braids up and over your head and pin in place. A quick tip is to take the pins and push them up towards the center of your head as opposed to down. They'll hold the braids in place much more securely this way. Once you have both braids pinned at the top, go ahead and take the tails and tuck them underneath to the nape of the neck and pin in place there. Try to pin them as flat as possible, but don't worry about the tails sticking out because we'll cover them up anyway. Next, split the hair in half and braid each of these sections into a 3-strand braid. Once again, nothing super fancy here, just a regular 3-strand braid all the way down, securing with an elastic at the end. Leia wears a couple different variations of this hairstyle in Endor. The easiest one to do would probably just be 2 circular buns like this, but today I'm going to show you how to do the infinity style bun like this. Crisscross the 2 braids in the back and add a couple bobby pins for security, and then we're going to wrap these braids into a figure 8 or infinity loop style pattern. Take whichever braid is on top of the crisscross and go ahead and make a loop/circle on one side, pin in place, tuck the tail end under the second braid, and then loop it back up and around to make another circle or loop, pin in place, and then take the second braid and loop it up over to cover the top of the tail end of the first braid, and then following that figure 8 pattern, just tuck the tail end of that second braid under the first braid's loop. Pin that in place, and that's it. That's how you do Leia's Endor hairstyle, the quick and easy version. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and as always, happy hairstyling!